Occupy Wall Street. The protests, of course, began here in New York City, but they have now spread across the country to at least 25 major cities. And as those demonstrations grow, political leaders are now taking sides. CBS's Bigad Shaban is outside the protest that started it all down in Manhattan's financial district with the latest for us this morning. Bigad, good morning.
Good morning, Erica. We're here just a few blocks from Wall Street, and this is really the epicenter of what seems to have become a national movement. And the several hundred camped-out protesters behind me are waking up this morning to once again voice their frustration over the economy, over Washington, for what's now the 24th straight day.
Wall Street got bailed out and we all got sold out. Let's tell the truth.
The drumbeat of the Occupy Wall Street protest is growing louder and wider, from the streets of New York and the nation's capital to down south.
Show us what democracy looks like.
And out west. Americans are frustrated and making their voices heard.
Wealthy individuals who own giant corporations have bought off our Congress and bought off our government, and, you know, the people no longer have a voice anymore.
The marchers come from all walks of life, young and old, male and female, hoping their lawmakers are listening, including 38-year-old Jesse LaGreca.
I think the message is very obvious. I think that the wealthiest 1% has benefited by just taking advantage of working class people. They've been selling us faulty financial products. They've been taking huge bonuses while depending on societies to bail them out.
99% of the people need to be prospering, not just the top 1%.
Michael Mulgrew is president of New York City's United Federation of Teachers.
Every community knows they're hurting. What's going on is wrong, and it's time to stop this and make a difference and do things that allow all people to prosper.
The protesters' efforts have even reached the race for president.
It's anti-American because to protest Wall Street and the bankers is basically saying that you're anti-capitalism.
And the movement has angered those on Wall Street.
I think that there's an overall paralysis in government, and people are frustrated, and I get that. But, you know, it's being vented in the wrong place.
Michael Lewis has written extensively about the economy and insists this protest could spark real change.
You can change the world, and the world changes, and this is how it changes. Now, whether this is the movement that will change the world, I can't tell you, but it does seem that I think they have justice on their side.
And while protest organizers acknowledge they've yet to come up with a consensus on their long-term ideas, they do agree on one thing, Erica, and that's that they're not leaving anytime soon.
So they're there for the long haul, Bigad. There's been some criticism, though, that while this is gaining in support in terms of a movement, there isn't a central message. Do they have a cohesive, unified message at this point?
Yeah, well, when you talk to protesters, there's certainly some common ground. There's joblessness, there's concern over the economy, but I think where some of that uncertainty comes into play when you talk to protesters is just how to take their frustrations and turn it into a call to action, especially when you have some pretty powerful unions now joining the mix. But the one question that remains, Erica, is certainly whether or not they're going to take their efforts and turn it into a political movement.
CBS's Bigad Shaban downtown in New York City for us. Bigad, thanks.